All right, World Sport returns with another coaching story of an international giant. While France get their hero, Zinedine Zidane, to become head coach. Four-time world champion Italy's head coaching search, it's been nothing short of chaotic. Days after former player Andrea Pirlo was set to take over the reins, it's now been announced that Roberto Mancini has agreed to become Italy's head coach. And with me now from Florence is in Florence, Italy, is Italian football expert and editor of Footballitalia, Lorenzo Bettoni. Lorenzo, thank you so much for being here to help us go sort all this out. You know, just when you think Italian football can't get any more dramatic after missing out on yet another World Cup, we get this last week, which has been just a whirlwind to say the least. So, Lorenzo, for our viewers that, haven't been following the chaos, can you fill us in on what has transpired that eventually led to the Mancini hiring?
Ciao, Andy. Well, as you said, it's been a few very chaotic days for Italian football because just 5 days ago, there were rumors and reports, and Italy fans were dreaming of having Pep Guardiola coaching Italy national team alongside Paolo Maldini as a technical director. Now, from Thursday until today, all sorts of things happened because Pep Guardiola refused the offer from the Italian Federation. Maldini announced that there had been talks with Carlo Ancelotti as well, but those were not successful as well. And so his main candidate became Andrea Pirlo, former Sampdoria and Juventus coach, an Italian legend, as you all know. But then there was a political dispute around the name of Andrea Pirlo because he recently became the brand ambassador of a Russian betting company. So there was a lot of protest, especially on the political front, regarding the name of Andrea Pirlo. All this situation didn't just lead to Pirlo not getting the job, but also to Paolo Maldini resigning. And so Giovanni Malagò, the new FIGC president, took the matter in his own hand and decided that Mancini would take over as the new Italy national team coach. It's the second stint because Mancini already coached Italy national team from 2018 until 2023, and he's no less controversial than Andrea Pirlo, I would say, because when he left in 2023, he had disagreements with Malagò's predecessor, Gabriele Gravina, but his decision to leave was mostly due to an offer from the Saudi Arabian national team, which he would later join. And so he's coming back from a second stint, but don't expect controversy to be over anytime soon.
I mean, and most fans and pundits have called this whole saga a black mark on Italian football and kind of embarrassing on many levels. Lorenzo, what's your perception of what we've seen?
That it is 100%, because Maldini was brought in 16 days ago, so barely 2 weeks ago, with the task of deciding on a long-term project alongside his advisor and former Milan teammate Leonardo, and appoint a new coach. There was put a lot of emphasis on the fact that Maldini would have been tasked with choosing the next coach for Italy national team. But then when this happened, and Ancelotti and Guardiola said no, as we said, and Pirlo was open to taking the job, there was this strong reaction from the political world. The issue there, however, is that Maldini and Leonardo felt that the scandal related to the Russian betting company was not the real reason why the federation didn't want to appoint Pirlo, but the actual reason was that President Malagò and part of the Italian Federation were not convinced about Pirlo as a head coach because of his experience. And so the decision that Maldini took after a meeting with Malagò yesterday was to resign because he felt that his autonomy in terms of decision making was no longer there. So he decided to resign because he thought that the whole mess regarding the Russian betting company was just an excuse that would limit his autonomy in terms of decision making. And now, I mean, the starting point was Maldini picking a coach. Now they've done the other way around. It's Malagò stepping up and deciding alone to hire a new coach, who is Roberto Mancini, and then they will hire a new technical director, which, according to the latest reports, should be Claudio Ranieri. So there's a lack of programming and there's a lack of clear communications between the two sides that basically led to Maldini's appointment only lasting 15 days.
Yeah, and you know, Lorenzo, I mean, the bottom line is, right, Italy wants to be back in the World Cup, right? And so is Mancini the right man to get that job done?
Well, technically, it failed already once in 2022 because we were eliminated against North Macedonia just after a few months after winning the Euros. I don't think there are concerns or doubts regarding Mancini's ability as a coach because he's brought Italy to the highest level in football since winning the 2006 World Cup, 2006 World Cup, winning the Euros. The main concern here is about what he did 3 years ago. So leaving Italy national team from one day to another to go and coach another national team for more money. Technically, it's a good appointment, but there is already a strong core of opposition to the Mancini appointment, even coming from some legendary figures in Italian football, such as Fabio Capello, who had an interview with Gazzetta dello Sport this morning, even before the Mancini news came out, saying that he should not be considered for the job because of his actions in the past. So technically, if you just look at the field, he is definitely one of the top names available, but given his experience and what he did in the past, there are issues on, there are question marks on whether he was the most appropriate name for the job.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it works out. I know 4 years from now, Italy fans certainly want to be enjoying the World Cup. But Lorenzo, thank you so much for all of your insight.